Good morning, good morning, good morning. You're listening to National Action Network's Saturday morning broadcast live on WLIB 1190 AM. Welcome to another week of National Action Network live on the air. My name is Nancy Darlene Crawford, and I am your host for this morning's broadcast. Today, you will hear reports on what NAN is doing across the country, and today we are joined by various leaders of our community and in the nation, bringing to you how you can get involved and get into the action with NAN now. Our keynote speaker today will be none other than our own Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton. We welcome all who have joined us live today at National Action Network's House of Justice Auditorium, located at 106 West 145th Street and the corner of Lenox Avenue here in the village of Harlem. Welcome to those also watching us via live stream on our social media platforms and our website at www.nationalactionnetwork.net. You still have time to join us here at the House of Justice and via live stream. During the Saturday Action Rally, we have a segment here called What's on Your Mind. We invite you to email us at nanwhatsonyourmind@gmail.com or call us live at 877-626-4651 to share with us a brief account of what issues are concerning you most that you want the broader community to be aware of. We invite you to call us, email us, what's on your mind today. The NAN Youth Huddle will meet on Monday, July 29th here at the House of Justice Auditorium. All are welcome to join. Spread the word. Get into the action with our youngest and brightest dreamers of today and tomorrow and leaders of tomorrow. For more information on Youth Huddle experience, you can call us at 877-626-4651 or email nanyouthhuddle@gmail.com. Tune in to MSNBC's Politics Nation with Al Sharpton every Saturday and Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time live on MSNBC. We're going to kick off the broadcast this morning with some important announcements coming from the Vice President of the New York City chapter of National Action Network, Dr. Alvin Ponder.
Thank you, Sister Crawford. Good morning, brothers and sisters, listeners and viewers, and thank you for tuning in to another Saturday Action Rally. Here's some information to keep you in the know. Loss of a champion. Sadly, earlier this week, Reverend Sharpton and National Action Network announced the tragic loss of our dear brother and social justice warrior this week, Michael Anthony Hardy, Esquire. Attorney Hardy not only served as Executive Vice President and General Counsel at the National Action Network, but he was a friend, he was a family member, a mentor to so many, and a true movement builder. He stood alongside Reverend Sharpton through the decades and in the trenches in the arduous battle for equality and justice. From the infancy of NAN until the present day, Attorney Hardy made an indelible mark in the struggle for civil rights in New York City, the nation, and beyond. For over 30 years, he was NAN's brilliant legal counsel and a fierce fighter, whether he was behind the desk or in the streets marching, even while seriously and visibly ill. He continued to walk with the National Action Network and Reverend Sharpton until the very end. NAN dedicated this week's legal night to his profound impact on both our organization and the greater fight for justice. We pause to acknowledge his memory and lasting legacy with thanks to God for blessing us to have known such a remarkable human being. May his widow, Dr. Robin Brown Hardy, his family, and all those who loved Attorney Hardy be in everyone's prayers. Let us carry his spirit with us in the journey ahead. Biden passes torch to Harris. President Biden passes torch to Vice President Harris. Reverend Sharpton praised President Joe Biden this week on his plethora of accomplishments during his time in office and stated that he respects his decision to step aside and pass the torch to Vice President Kamala Harris. Reverend Sharpton and the National Action Network recognize this historic movement we are in, as well as the tremendous impact of Biden's time in office. Reverend Sharpton and the National Action Network welcome the historic candidacy of Vice President Harris to potentially be the first woman, the first black woman, President of the United States. Earlier in the week, Reverend Sharpton received a phone call from Vice President Harris and offered his heartfelt congratulations. He said, "I emphasized to her that the road ahead is paved with a lot of hard work, but history is upon us." On Monday, Reverend Sharpton also had an op-ed in the New York Times highlighting President Biden's tremendous impact, the upcoming presidential election, the historic moment we are in, and all that hangs in the balance. Justice for Sonia Massie. Beginning next week, Reverend Sharpton and the National Action Network will lead rallies in partnership with local activists in Illinois, calling for justice for Sonia Massie. The horrific police shooting of Massie was caught on body cam footage for the world to see, and NAN stands with her father, with her children, and loved ones demanding accountability without delay. We will join Attorney Benjamin Crump in raising our voices and marching for the family as we call for swift action and justice. Massie's horrendous death is just the latest police shooting caught on camera. The Illinois deputy who fatally shot Ms. Massie in her home was previously discharged from the Army for misconduct and was employed by several different police departments just in the last 4 years. This is why we demand a national database for police misconduct. This is why we demand reform. This is why we continue to march and protest for justice. DEI must stay. For the 29th week in a row, National Action Network held a demonstration calling for the preservation of diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives outside the office of hedge fund billionaire Bill Ackman's Manhattan Midtown office. For months, NAN has picketed in front of his office building after Ackman led that vicious smear campaign against former Harvard President Dr. Claudine Gay and has continuously attacked DEI programs. Hey, hey, what do we say? Chanted the crowd outside of ACMA's office. DEI is here to stay. When DEI is under attack, what do? DEI Thursdays take place every week as a sustained protest against organized schemes to regress society. Universities, human resources departments, Wall Street, government employment, and many areas of the workforce have already slashed or eliminated DEI programs. Just this week, Appalachian State University in North Carolina closed its DEI office, and the University of North Carolina, Charlotte will close their DEI office. Meanwhile, Winston-Salem State deleted its DEI webpage in order to comply with the new DEI ban. This was just the latest in a string of setbacks for equal opportunity, inclusion, and progress. NAN vows to continue leading the charge for the preservation of DEI and to help continue this nation on a path that preserves our hard-fought civil rights gains. Rev's Emmy nomination. The 2024 Emmy nominations are out, and Loudmouth, The Life and Battles of Al Sharpton, has been nominated for Outstanding Current Affairs Documentary. The 45th News and Documentary Emmy Awards will be distributed later this fall when the winners will retrieve their awards over the course of 2 nights, which will air on NATAS's viewing platform and streaming at, here's the website, watch.theemmys.tv, watch.theemmys.tv, and Emmy apps. The entire National Action Network team congratulates Reverend Sharpton, and we'll be rooting for Loudmouth. Welcome to all of you who have tuned in and joined us also via live stream at www.nationalactionnetwork.net and also live on Facebook at The National Action Network. If this is your first time joining us, and or if you're not a member of NAN, we welcome you to NAN and invite you to join us and get into the action today. For more information and to join, you may visit again www.nationalactionnetwork.net, or you may call 877-626-4651. Go ahead and write it down, 877-626-4651, or just text the word NAN, N-A-N, to 59769. Welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Ponder, for those announcements. Well, it's Saturday, and it's time to find out what's on your mind, where you, the contributors, let us know what you want to share with those of us here in the House of Justice, as well as on our live stream and website. All right, step up, tell us your name, and briefly share what's on your mind.
Good day, everybody, and God bless everybody. My name is Sister Reverend Word. I'm from heaven, born in Harlem. I'm 73 years old and new, and I'm a National Action Network lifetime member. Of course, what's on my mind is Bible scriptures. And Christ Jesus showed us clear examples of how to deal with trash talkers. Now, we know the Republican candidate for the presidency is a trash talker, and he picked a presidential vice president who's also a trash talker. But fortunately, we have a Democratic presidential candidate, Kamala Harris, who's prepared to deal with trash talkers. So much to the point that the trash talker didn't even want to debate her. So we know what's up. So in the meantime, we still got to keep our eye on the prize. And thank God that God has given us Kamala Harris and President Joe Biden. Thank God for them. Keep the eye on the prize. We got to vote. Yes, she represents DEI in the fullest. So like I said, yes, yes, vote, vote. DEI is our vote. We know what we got to do. God bless y'all. Good day.
Thank you. Good morning. Tell us your name and briefly share what's on your mind.
My name is Reverend Mike Clinton, and what's on my mind is legacy. Attorney Michael Harding. Can we give him a round of applause? Come on, y'all can do better than that. It is not in the clothes you wear, but it's in the fruits that you bear. And Attorney Michael Harding has bear many fruits in the hearts and the minds over 30 plus years of being attorney and being able to provide legal counsel. And that is wonderful. Would you not agree? Michael Harding is one who has given his life, his time and commitment to serve all people as relates to what he does. And we ought to just celebrate him. He might not be here in the flesh, but his spirit lives in the hearts and the minds of all of us here at National Action Network, a founding father of change. Let us continue to remember who he is and what he has and what he continues to do in the hearts and the minds of what his legacy stands for. God bless you.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. Good morning. Tell us your name and briefly share one thought of what's on your mind.
My name is Ernest Waters, and I like to read a poem statement. Attorney Michael Harding, always full of finesse, always doing the best, always kind and polite, and the founder of Legal Night. Right up to the end, he was around, because you can't keep a good man down. Attorney Michael Harding was the best in his field, and he was always keeping it real, always doing the best he can, always watching over NAN, guiding judges and lawyers too, instructing them, saying there is nothing you cannot do. Don't complain at what's being done. Be the change for everyone. He was Saturday morning's host, live on the air, powerful voice coming to you loud and clear. A husband, a godfather, a brother, a friend, a trooper right to the bitter end. Attorney Michael Harding, we thank you and we salute you. Amen.
Yes, simply beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. Good morning. Tell us your name and briefly share one thought of what's on your mind.
My name is Jesse Fields, and I've written a poem. What's on my mind is Attorney Michael Harding. I wrote this poem for Michael. Brother beloved, the steeped soul of justice, walking on common ground, touching the long history, cited founder of the road forward. Michael, steadfast like the angel advocate, you stood before us and shed tears for those who went before, and you taught us how to love and how to lead. Wake morning, open heavens, behold, a brother beloved enters all time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. Good morning. Tell us your name and briefly share one thought of what's on your mind.
My name is Tony Veer from the Boogie Down, and what's on my mind is Kamala Harris. She is coming from such a high level of awareness and consciousness that her message is about lifting people up and giving people the highest aspiration that they could reach for. She reminded me of a book that I read in 2005 that I haven't stopped reading called Power versus Force. It's about the 17 different levels of consciousness of humanity. And I see exactly where she's at. She's almost at the top. God bless her, and we need this as a species, as a planet, as a country, and I'm just grateful she's here. I'm complete.
Thank you. Good morning. Tell us your name and briefly share one thought of what's on your mind.
Good morning. My name is Mr. Carswell. I'm the chairman here of the Men's Auxiliary. I'm from the Mount Haven section of the South Bronx. My message is to Kamala Harris, and I would like to say, please do not let Donald Trump reduce you to the lowest denominator that he is. Like Michelle used to say, when they go low, we go high. We need to hear about the environment, the homeless veterans, mental health, and all the sick things in our society. That's my message. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Good morning. Tell us your name and briefly share one thought of what's on your mind.
Dawnell Jones, National Board Member, National Action Network. I rise to announce that the National Action Network New York City Chapter Political Action Meeting will host their 4th Saturday monthly meeting right here at the House of Justice, 106 West 145th Street in the village of Harlem on this morning, June 22nd, 2024 at 11:30 a.m. Hope to see your face in the place. For further information or learn more, contact NAN PAC at 212-690-3070. I also would like to offer my deepest condolences to the family and friends of attorney Michael Hardy. I had the honor to share the platform and sit on the board of directors with him. He will be missed.
You had the wrong date. Can you say that again just to make sure? Sorry.
Okay, thank you so much. It's today, July 22nd. Okay, and then Harlem, Black Women for Kamala Harris on Sunday, July 28th at 1:00 p.m. in front of the Harriet Tubman statue at 122nd and Frederick Douglass Boulevard for a press conference, Formation for Harlem, Black Women for Kamala Harris. And the National Action Network Political Action Committee, after our meeting, we will be at Colonel Young Park, and the Frederick Douglass Boulevard Alliance will be partnering with the National Action Network for voter engagement at the Frederick Douglass Boulevard. That's on Saturday, that's on next Saturday for the month of August from 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. We would like everyone to come out to do voter registration on 116th and Frederick Douglass Boulevard near Harlem Tavern. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good morning. Tell us your name and briefly share one thought of what's on your mind.
My name is Frank Mercado Valdez. I was a board member of National Action Network in the 1990s and early outies. Michael Hardy was my friend, and he was my lawyer during some of the more significant parts of my life. I used to own a business. He was with me in my business. He was with me in court. He was with me when I bought my condo at Trump Tower. He helped me sue Donald Trump. And I must tell you that there was not a part of my life where he was not a part of it. Some really good things and some really, really challenging things. And I'll bet you that there's a lot of people in this room who can say the same thing. And he was a person who would shed tears very quickly at the pain of other people. And I haven't stopped crying all week.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We thank each and every one of you that have contributed this morning to What's on Your Mind, and we want to remind you that all the viewpoints heard here today are simply those of the contributors and do not reflect those of National Action Network. And I want to conclude by saying, Attorney Hardy is not here with us, but his legacy will forever be remaining here in National Action Network. Well, it's Saturday, and it's time to hear the sultry sound of Minister Tyrone Richardson and the Change Ensemble.
Because the Lord is my shepherd, I have everything I need. He lets me rest in the meadow's grass, and He leads me beside the quiet stream. He restores my failing health, and He helps me to do what honors Him the most. That's why
ensemble under the direction of our musical director, Minister Tyrone Richardson, and soloist Tisha Hunter. Our members are hard working on the ground to raise issues and making change a reality in this country. To hear more about what our committees are doing right here in the New York City chapter, we take you in the house this week with Sandra Mitchell, the chairperson of the Housing Committee of the New York City chapter. Let us welcome her at this time.
Good blessed morning to you all. Thank you for being here. It's an honor to be in your presence. I want to say my condolences to our Legal Eagles family and friends. And I want you to know that Attorney Harding, he meant a lot to me because I would sit in his presence and I would soak up everything he said. He let me know that I can decipher any legal documentation, no matter how many pages it is. Right now, I'm disseminating some medical documentation, 500 pages. So 900 pages for 2025 is nothing. So I am just so proud that I was able for 20 years to sit under his tutelage, listening to him. And he let us know every time he came here that we were important to him, we were important to the world. So give it up for our legal eagle, Attorney Harding. As I was introduced, Chaplain Sandra Mitchell, that's my name, and my name Sandra means defender of mankind. By profession, I am a peer specialist, and we specialize in human healing. I am honored to be here at the National Action Network because you can't get this kind of education, this kind of boots on the ground living education anywhere, only here. So it is an honor to be here to stand with you for justice. The Housing Committee, we have been really very busy learning and educating ourselves, strengthening ourselves on what is the law of housing. We know that the law is not fair. We know that the greedy landlords profits over people. We understand all of that, and we understand how there are loopholes in these so-called laws, and sometimes we have to stand and change the law. We need not feel not important. We not feel that we're not good enough. We're more than enough. The Bible tells us we are fearfully and wonderfully made, so we can stand in any arena and to challenge the powers that be, and we can speak truth to power. So what we've been doing is every Monday we have been standing on the lines with our tenants in housing court to tell them that they're not alone. Sometimes we go inside and we sit in the courts. We are silent. We are a presence to be reckoned with. We listen, we watch, we understand how sometimes the tenants, they get very nervous and they're railroaded into being thrown out of their apartments. Housing is a human right. And I know we know that, so we need to act like we know that. So we need you, the Housing Committee, excuse me, the Housing Committee, to come with us when we stand with those who are in dire straits. Sometimes there's a language barrier. In the Bronx, there's Spanish, there's Sulinki, there's Mandingo, there's so many languages in Pakistan, but we can do it. We can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. All things, not something, but all things. So we go to Queens, we go to Brooklyn, we go to Staten Island, we don't care. If we have a Metro card or we have to ask somebody for a car fare, we go and we stand with our fellow tenants. People who are homeowners are having some problems as well with the variable rate mortgages, and they pay late, or they say they didn't get, excuse me, they say they didn't get the payment. A lot of lies, I have somebody who, the deed was taken away from them. They said grandmother's house, and the deed was taken away from them. And then they were held at gunpoint to get out of the house. It's serious, it's a crisis, it's serious. Please don't think that you're not good enough. I can learn, if I can learn it, you can. And I can say that because with the medicines that they had given me by mistake, I had a stroke and another stroke and another stroke. And I'm learning another thing and another thing and another thing. So you can get it. So we meet every Saturday for 30 minutes just to test space with each other and to understand that we must go to our classes, we must go get our training, and we must do due diligence. Seeking justice is hard work. And when you join NAN, you're saying that I'm ready to be trained to do this hard work. And as you keep doing it, it's not hard. It becomes a part of you. As Reverend Sharpton tells us, it's a way of life. I love Reverend Sharpton with the agape love of Christ. I don't have to be underneath his armpits, but I listen. I listen and I learn. It's been 20 long years. It's time for me to step up and to step up in the faces of the powers that be and to let them know that change has come. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Mitchell, for that information on our Housing Committee. We will now have a Harlem Week announcement coming from Winston Majette, the Executive Director of Harlem Week. Let us receive him with a warm National Action Network welcome.
Thank you and good morning. This is Harlem Week's 50th anniversary. Thank you very much, thank you. Because of you and for you, we're in our 50th year. Our 2024 theme is Celebrate the Journey. The dates are August 1st through August 18th. And this is a live and virtual regional festival, and you can see it on harlemweek.com as well as come out live. Thank you. Because of you and the promotion and marketing that you've helped us do, we've had an overwhelming request and been bombarded for you all to be exhibitors and vendors during Harlem Week. So what I invite you to do is call our office, let them know you're a NAN member so you can get a space to exhibit and vend. You can call us at 212-862-7200. These forms are in the back, and you can find them online on harlemweek.com. Please come out and participate. One of our first events, well, this is the other request you asked. You asked for us to provide an opportunity for you to get jobs, whether they're government jobs, green jobs, or in technology and in health. So we invite you on Wednesday, August 14th, to come out to the City College of New York, Shepherd Hall, from 9 to 4 p.m. to participate in the over 400 jobs and over 40 companies and organizations that will be providing jobs and career opportunities for you. One of our first events is on Wednesday, August 7th. It's our Climate Change Conference, and it'll take place at the Adam Clayton Powell Jr. State Office Building at 163 West 125th Street. At 6 p.m., the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce will present their third annual Climate Change Conference, exploring climate change and its disproportionate negative impact on communities and countries of color. Local researchers, government agencies, and community leaders share New York City's environmental challenges and discuss ways to empower Harlem and other communities seeking cleaner, safer, and healthier futures. For the first 12 NAN members that call our office at 212-862-7200, you will be our guest at the Climate Change Conference on Wednesday, August 7th, 2024. On Friday, August 9th, we'll have our New York City Senior Citizens Day at the Adam Clayton Powell Jr. State Office Building from 9 o'clock to 4 p.m. And again, for the first 12 NAN members that contact our office, you'll get the opportunity to experience a stylish fashion accessory and hat show, which is virtual, exhibits for senior citizens, live entertainment, and much, much more. So we invite you to come out on Friday, August 9th, 2024. On Sunday, August 11th, we have our great day in Harlem. It's at Ulysses S. Grant National Memorial on 122nd Street and Riverside Drive. Starting at 12 o'clock, you'll get the opportunity to hear Arts, Roots, and Rhythm, our local entertainment, and the Harlem Gospel Caravan, and you'll get to see the fabulous gospel great Hezekiah Walker. And also, please, and also experience our Concert Under the Stars, led by our musical band director, Mr. Ray Chu, who many of you know here in Harlem from the Apollo Wednesday night shows. We're Amateur Night at the Apollo. On Saturday, August 17th, we invite you to come out to Summer in the City at West 135th Street from St. Nicholas Avenue to 5th Avenue, where you'll get to experience the New York City Children's Festival Day 1, our upmarket international vendors, exhibitors, food, arts, fun, and games. Also, we'll have our fabulous Alex Trebek Harlem Children's Spelling Bee at the Schomburg Center for Research in Black Culture. So we want you to come out and make sure that you bring your family. We'll have on Sunday, August 18th, Harlem Day, our biggest day, the one that started it all, on West 135th Street between St. Nicholas Avenue and 5th Avenue. Tens of thousands coming out, and also virtually showing. The second day of the New York City Children's Day Festival, we'll have our Broadway Salute, so come out to Broadway Row. 4 stages, one at St. Nicholas and 135th Street. Second stage, center stage in front of the Harlem YMCA. Third stage, 5th Avenue, and we'll have plenty there, and our 4th stage will be in the New York City Children's Festival. Many have come to us and asked to celebrate Harlem Week's 50th anniversary, one such being the Department of Transportation. So on Saturdays, we'll be celebrating with the Department of Transportation Summer Streets, August 3rd, August 10th, and August 17th on 125th Street and Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Boulevard between 7 a.m. and 3 p.m., Harlem Week's 50th, with the city and the Department of Transportation. Come out to New York City summer streets and celebrate with us. Again, you can reach us at www.harlemweek.com and call us at 212-862-7200 and 8477. Make sure you come out and celebrate the 50th. It's your festival. It's our festival. Let's celebrate. One love, one Harlem.
Thank you, Mr. Majed, for that very important information pertaining to Harlem Week. Right now, we're going to have some remarks coming from Laura Kavanaugh, the New York City Fire Commissioner. Let us welcome her at this time.
Good morning. How are you? So I have 2 quick things here today. One, I want to make an offer that I hope that you guys say yes to, and that is that we are in our recruitment period. So the recruitment application for firefighter is open right now. It's going to be open through August 9th. I'm going to ask you all to turn around. Drew, if you can raise your arms. We have one of our top recruiters and top captains and tallest captains on the job back there. Truly. Even I'm not as tall as he is. I like to compete. And he will be here afterwards along with a couple of our recruiters to talk about the details, but I want to just tell you why I think it's so important that you say yes to this opportunity. So first of all, the fire department is one of the greatest organizations in New York City. It's part of the fabric of this city, and it truly does good work, saving lives. And our members have a lot in common with everyone here. You know, first and foremost, we get into this profession because we have faith. We have faith that there is something larger than ourselves, that public service is the greatest good we can ever do for the world, that there is no amount of money that is greater than being able to give back to our fellow citizen and save a life. We also believe in community. We take care of our people, and that not only means emotionally, we are there for one another in good times and bad, it also means we have good union jobs in 2024, something that we should have more of. Our jobs pay well, they offer health care, they offer retirement plans and protections and benefits. Those are the kind of jobs we need more of. And lastly, I want to address the elephant in the room, which is we need more trailblazers. I'm the first woman to ever be commissioner of this department. Thank you. Thank you. And I know everybody here knows the issues we've struggled with diversity over the years, but thanks, well, you can, yeah, I think that was a yes. But we can't make a difference if we don't have people willing to be trailblazers. And it's not easy. I'm here to tell you it's not easy, but I'm also here to tell you it's possible and it's worth it. We, 10 years ago, went about our first recruitment campaign aiming for diversity, and that was not only the most diverse list in department history, but because of the firefighters that have come off of that list, we've quadrupled the number of women, we've increased the number of black firefighters by almost 20%. It has made a difference. And we have to keep going, you know, and so I am here hoping to call upon this community that I know believes in public service, believes in community, and believes in blazing a trail, and I know just like me, is not afraid to make that leap and be a first, even when it's hard, even when it's challenging, because you know that it matters. So I'm hoping that you can think about some people in your lives who want to take that leap and become New York City firefighters and can sign up before this closes on August 9th. So please see Drew before you leave in the back. Take a flyer with you, even if it's not yourself. Please, if everybody can commit to recruiting one person to joining our department, we will continue to make this not only the greatest fire department on earth, but one that represents the communities that it serves. You can clap for that. Thank you. And then finally, I do just want to say thank you to the Reverend, to everybody here in the NAN community. Being the first has been the honor of a lifetime. It has come with its challenges. I will be leaving the job on August 7th for my next chapter. And this community has always supported me. You have lifted me up. You have made it possible for me to be first. You've made it possible for so many other firsts to happen in the FDNY, and I just want to say thank you. I have not decided what my next chapter will be yet, but I can definitely commit that whatever it is, I will continue to make sure that every person, wherever I work, is treated as a 100% fully human, and that justice and fairness serve the day wherever I go. So I want to make that commitment to this community again, but also just say thank you for lifting me up and thank you for having me. So have a good Saturday. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner Kavanaugh. Let us give her another hand. Thank you for your service, and thank you for being a part of the National Action Network family. Thank you. Let's welcome back our Minister of Musical Director, Minister Tyrone Richardson.
Running for a long time. Your time is winding up. You better make up your mind. It's getting late in the evening. The sun is going down. You better get it right, while he makes it sound. I wanna know who's on the Lord's side.
assemble. Every Saturday, we have an inspirational word coming from one of our leading pastors across the country. Please welcome to bring our inspirational word this morning, Reverend Dr. Adolphus Lacey, Senior Pastor of the Bethany Baptist Church in Brooklyn, New York.
No justice. Oh, y'all know better. No justice. It's good to be home, family. It certainly is. And certainly I'm thankful to our leader, Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton, for the opportunity to be able to come forth and be with you all even in this moment. And certainly to our chairman, W. Franklin Richardson, who is my pastor. And you all know I serve as Reverend Al Sharpton's pastor. And as we reflect upon this moment, I've been able to come here for the last 10 years. And this is the first time, thank you, Sister Crawford, but this is the first time that Michael Hardy has not introduced me. And that's warming to me. It bothers me. I miss him. I mean, I do funerals, I do all the time, but when you get genuine people who love you and embrace you, and that's how we know that they're missed. And so certainly to Dr. Robin and certainly to that entire Hardy family, we certainly extend our heartfelt condolences to them. But the reason why your leader and my leader, my disciple, and I love when he calls me pastor, has me here is because I do what I'm supposed to do and I sit down. So I want to just talk in the midst of this thing. I want to talk just for a brief moment about a faithful life. Faithful life. Taken from Lamentations chapter 3, verses 21 through 24. Yet this I call to mind, and therefore I have hope. Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. I say to myself, Lord, my portion, therefore I will wait for him. Eternal God, even in this moment, bless us now. Hide me behind your cross, that all of you and none of me may be seen and heard. In the marvelous name of Jesus Christ we pray. Amen. Faithful is an adjective that means fidelity. Faithful describes someone who is reliable and consistent. As a noun, faith is belief or trust in someone or something. Faith is where the reality and the promises of God are made real in the life of the believer. Full, F-U-L-L. I'm from Kansas. Y'all know that. I pastor in Brooklyn, but I'm from Kansas. Full, F-U-L-L. Containing or holding as much or as many as possible, having no empty space. In other words, we're talking about faith, the substance of things to hope for, the evidence of things not seen. Full, meaning you have no more space. But it is hard to have faith full when you say goodbye to the righteous and evil ones continue to prosper. It is hard to have your faith full when you can't afford to live in a city you helped build. It is hard to have faith full when empire can kill you in your own home when calling for help. Somebody say Sonia, Massie. It is hard to have faith full when your work all the way to the top, being a political leader of a party, and somebody dares to call you a DEI whore. See, in other words, in the words of Marvin Gaye, it makes you want to holler, throw up your hands. But we who are believers, we recognize the power of faith. We are saved by faith. We live by faith. We are justified by faith. We have access to God by faith. We receive the promise of God by faith. We wait in the return of God by faith. Faith is God's faith is only as good as the object in which it is placed. Hence, a faithful life requires a faithful God. And our faith in God's faithfulness allows us to be faithful to God, even in difficult situations. And here in this text that I want to share with you, it's a difficult text. It's a difficult text because they are in the midst of pain, in the midst of trial, in the midst of giving up. Is there anybody here who thought about giving up? Oh, you lying to yourself. I'm so glad I got some honest people in here because life ain't been no crystal stair. It's been difficult and we thought about giving up because we did not see the finish line. We did not see where we would go, but what allowed us to keep on going was faith. And here he says in this lament, which we don't like to do because sadly, we've been engaged in triumphal worship. All we want to do is celebrate God. All we want to do is celebrate the good times and celebrate what has happened. But I rise this morning to let you know that there's some dark times. There's some people that are being abused. There's some people that have lost jobs. There's some people that are going through foreclosures. There are difficult times, and how do we speak to them? And that's what this lament says. This lament, be able to complain to God. I got people, you know, when you get mad, you call your sister to talk about your husband. Y'all know I'm right. You know I'm right. That's what we do. But I dare you to call God to complain about your husband. I dare you to call God to complain about your wife. I dare you to call God to complain about your job. In other words, God gave all of this to you, and if God is the manufacturer, we got to know how to complain to God. And the reason we don't complain to God, because God lets us know how we have been complicit in what has taken place. God has a way of, what Will Track said, shine a light on it. He's able to put something on it. But here, watch, just 3 quick points because I got to go. But watch this. The thing that this text reminds us is that God does not recycle. So morning by morning, every morning, God is going to give us a new mercy. And the fact that God allowed you to have a new day, you ought to celebrate. Oh, you missed what I just said. Somebody is still sleeping right now, but somehow by God's grace, you are allowed to see a new morning. And then in the midst of fickleness, our God does not change. See, God gives us new mercies every day, but God does not change. It's a powerful notion to have somebody to stand by your side through thick and through thin. And lastly, God is enough. I got a Chase account. I got a Wells Fargo account. But that can't get me through my darkest days. My darkest days are sustained because God is my portion. And that's what we want to say, and we recognize even in the midst of people who wish to destroy us, that if God is on our side, we are able to make it. In other words, the acid test of our faith is obedience, and God measures our success by faithfulness. And the good part is, it's good to be faithful to a God who is faithful to you. This is the word of God for the people of God.
Amen. Thank you, Reverend Lacey, for that word. The Change Choir.
Hallelujah. Salvation and glory, honor and power unto
Cultural Director, Minister Tyrone Richardson. Brothers and sisters, stand to your feet as we receive our President and Founder, the Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
What do we want?
Justice.
What do we want?
Justice.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
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 Shake hands with the person next to you. Tell them you love them. We are in the midst of seeing transitions in this country. I remember many years ago, Paula Madison, who was an executive at the time at MSNBC, introduced me to a young lady she knew in the West Coast who was the district attorney of San Francisco. We became friendly. I supported her. I supported her when she ran for State Attorney General of California. People say she couldn't win. Black woman could not win in California because when many people think of California, they think of LA and San Francisco. But in between, there's a lot of rural red counties. But she won, and she got reelected. Ran for the U.S. Senate. She was low in the polls. We went out, did what we had to do, raise money, and she won. Many of you remember when in 2003, President Joe Biden spoke at National Action Network's D.C. Martin Luther King breakfast. And he said that he had kept his word, that he pointed to me and said, Al, you made me do it. Keep my word about a black woman vice president. He chose Kamala Harris. No one would have known when I met that young lady as district attorney in San Francisco that she would be the one that would have to face not only Donald Trump, but face those that want to turn back the clock and go back to a time where blacks and women and others will not have their rights. But sometimes God's got a role for you that you don't even know. And he don't have to explain it to you. All you got to do is submit to his will.
I talked to Vice President Kamala Harris the other night and told you, you just hold on. They're going to take shots at you. They're going to call your names. But don't worry about it. Hold on.
Hold on.
Because just like they never thought you'd be DA, just like they thought you'd never be Attorney General,
Yes, sir.
just like they thought you'd never be the U.S. Senator,
Yes, sir.
just like it was unlikely you'd be the Vice President.
Yes, sir.
If you don't give up now, your change will
Your
come.
change will come. Your change. Don't you give up. Your change. Just hang on in there. Your change. Oh, change will. Oh, change will.
We all are talking about who gonna win, what the polls are saying. But I'm telling you that we are a movement people. We don't take polls, we make polls. We change polls. If they took a poll during slavery, we'd still be on the plantation. If they took a poll during Jim Crow, we'd still be in the back of the bus. Martin Luther King used to say there are two types of leaders. There are those that are thermometers, and there are those that are thermostats.
Yes, sir.
Thermometers judge the temperature in the room. Thermostats change the temperature in the room.
Yes, sir.
Y'all run around talking about can Kamala win. But I remember when we said could Obama win, we didn't even know how to say his name. But not only did he won 2 times. Don't talk about who can win, talk about we must win. And if we go with the faith and the power that we must win, our change will come. National Action Network Change Choir. Give them a big hand. Give them a big hand. Certainly we're happy to be with you another Saturday morning for the Saturday Action Rally. For you that are here live at the House of Justice of the National Action Network, 106 West 145th Street in the village of Harlem. And for you that are listening live on 1190 WLIB AM in New York, and you that are watching us all over the world on Impact Television, as well as our media platforms. We're happy to be with you another Saturday morning to give our report on where the action is. Give a hand to our presiding person, Nancy Darlene Crawford. Our musical director, Minister Tyrone Richardson. And of course, our inspirational speaker, and this wasn't planned this way, but being this is a heavy week for me, I couldn't be more happy to have as our inspirational speaker today my pastor of Bethany Baptist Church, Reverend Dr. Adolphus Lacey. I'm glad my pastor's in the house. I ain't got to do a whole lot of preaching. He doesn't preach. Before I go into my remarks, let us also always recognize the presence of one of our icons, Bishop Herb Daughtry. Always honored to be in his presence, and certainly the mother of Eric Garner, Sister Gwen Carr. Let me, before I get into my remarks and announcements, I want to take about 3 minutes to let you know we're getting ready to have a huge event that we look for every year. And this year has special meaning. And that's Harlem Week, which is really Harlem Month now. And y'all are watching around the country. Y'all have not been, they all going to Paris to Olympics. You need to get to Harlem during Harlem Week. And I see the chairman of the board of the Harlem Chamber of Commerce who kept that going. I believe in those that keep traditions going. You don't imitate, but you emulate in your way. Let's bring up for 2 or 3 minutes, come on the air, the chairman of the Harlem Chamber of Commerce, Brother Lloyd Williams.
First of all, it's good to talk about Harlem Week, but I want to talk for a moment about Reverend Al Sharpton. You know, sometimes black men don't know how to tell other black men how much we love them. And Al Sharpton, I'm glad that you allowed me to say something about Harlem Week. Harlem Week begins on the 1st of August of this year. It goes through the 18th of August. We have senior citizens days and children's festivals and spelling bees and climate change conferences, Black Health Matters conferences. We are throughout. And then it's the 50th anniversary of WBLS. And Reverend Sharpton, it was ironic that Harlem Week started 50 years ago about 10 feet away from WBLS. Didn't know it was going to happen. And it was WLIB-AM and Percy Sutton, and we had Hal Jackson who did that and brought it together. So I'll close by saying this. As we salute WBLS, on the 10th of August, at the Percy Sutton Harlem 5K run, we'll salute Percy Sutton. On the 11th of August at U.S. Grant National Park, we will salute the Sunday Classics and Hal Jackson. On the 17th of August, on West 135th Street, we will salute the Quiet Storm with Von Harper. And on the last day, the 18th of August, we will salute Frankie Crocker and Vi Higginson, Keith Webb. We will salute them with It's a Celebration. I close, though, by simply saying, man, I love you. I love you.
Brother Lloyd Williams. Let me say we certainly are going to support Harlem Week as we do every year, but with the 50th anniversary, it takes on new meaning. And many of you start clapping with Frankie Crocker when he was there at WBLS, the biggest disc jockey. And in Black America at the time. And that Percy Sutton put out there, I saw Tony putting his hands up, clapping. Frankie used to go off singing, here we go, here we go. And Tony thought he was singing the hymn. We had to break his heart and tell him, Frankie don't even know you, Tony. But anyway. Last week, as I had said on Saturday morning, we had prayed for Attorney Michael Hardy. Michael Hardy had been, as he stood up himself, battling with this illness. He had gone back in the hospital week before last, and he had been in 2 times before that. And my daughters would go and see him. He would call me and say, I'll be out in a day or 2, don't come. I don't need everybody on the floor to know that I do whatever I do. Don't come. We talk on the phone. And Dominique would go and Ashley would go and his wife Robin, Dr. Robin Brown, there every day. But then he went back in last week before last, and said that I'll be back at the office Friday. He said they're just doing some tests. And Friday came, he didn't come. I called him and his voice was weak. Saturday, I called, he could hardly talk, he's in the hospital. He said, I'll be all right, everything's all right. And I got off the phone, and I said to Dominique and Ashley and Reverend Bird, and we do debriefing, I said, I'm gonna go see Hardy, I don't care what he say. And I know he don't want notoriety, but I'm just gonna go see him. I called his wife, and she said, all right, I'll tell him. She said, and she called me back and said, when you come, call me, I'll come down the front, bring you up. I said, is he don't know I'm coming? She said, I told him. I said, he telling me don't come, right? She said, no, he smiled and said, good. So I went and did the radio show that morning, and I was on my way to Brooklyn to see, to be with Ed Towns for his 90th birthday. We did a big celebration at Berean Baptist. And he turned 90 years old. I still tease him, say he's still a junior to Bishop Daughtry. And I went on and met Dr. Brown and went up and saw Michael. And he was there, lost even more weight, voice was weak, but he was smiling. We were talking about old times. And I told him I was going on to see Ed, and I would call him later or talk to him tomorrow. And I went to the Ed Towns thing about 3 blocks from getting the Ed Towns thing. They called me and said that President Biden had pulled out the race. And when I got to the church, Congressman Greg Meeks was there, Hakeem was there, and we trying to deal with all of this, and Ozzie going to endorse Kamala, and we back and forth on the phone. Clyburn, then they called me and said, we preempting your show, but we want you to sit there and host the news part. Hakeem is gonna come on with you. And so I did 2 hours rather than 1. Got off, and they said, want you 6 in the morning with Morning Joe. I did all the Morning Joe that Monday morning. In the middle of the show, I could see my phone ring, I couldn't answer, and it was Robin, Attorney Hardy's wife. And I waited till the show was over, and I called her back, and I said, Robin, everything all right? You need something? She said, Michael passed. And I said, what? And I'm standing there in the middle of 30 Rock. 1986, they had killed a young boy in Howard Beach, Queens, named Michael Griffith. I decided that we needed to do something. Many people outraged in the community. I remember that it was a young man named Sunshine that worked for me, National Youth Movement. This for our new Reverend DeVest Toon, stand up, our field director came in to be with us today. It's for our new tune and Damon, who's been with me since he was a kid. Before I knew them, and they got me all out there militant stuff. I was a holy roller preacher. Saved, sanctified, anointing folks and stuff. But Sunshine called me in the middle of the night and said they killed my cousin out on the Bell Parkway. At that time, we were painting crack houses. We were revealing where the crack was being sold, because we could not understand how they were not busting the crack sellers, just busting the kids that were selling the crack. You'd go in at that time, put $10 on the counter in the store, and they'd give you your crack. So we would go take one reporter, go in and put the money on the counter. The reporter be there with them, not knowing it was a reporter. And they'd get a crack. Then I'd march over with 50, 60 kids and the rest of the press showing that that was where they cracked. The reporter said, yeah, they sold crack. And I'd paint red X's. Say that if the kids know where the crack is, you know where the crack. That was what the red X was. And it got so that David Patterson, Charlie Rangel, Melvin Moore, and all came out and did crack houses with me. So I thought that when Sunshine called me that he was telling me that his friend had got killed on the Bell Parkway because of some crack deal. He gave me the address, told me to go over there. When I got over there and met Miss Griffiths, she said, no, my son was killed because he was black. Ran him over on the Bell Parkway because they said they didn't allow blacks in Howard Beach. And I said, well, we got to expose this, what it is, because they in the papers are going to do it whatever they want. I met that day Cedric Sanford, who was in the car and had got beaten up by the whites, saying we don't allow ends in the neighborhood. So I went downstairs. By that time, there was a lot of press there. Some of them knew me because I'd been youth director of Bread Basket and then head of National Youth Movement. And I announced Pastor Lacey, just jumped up and said, we going to Howard Beach. I'm going to lead a motorcade to Howard Beach. And we going to go out there and show we go to any neighborhood we want. And that's going to be the big story. And brother named Jim Bell, who was a union leader, he called me and said, Reverend Sharpton? I said, yeah. He said, Jim Bell? I said, yeah, he's a big labor leader. He said, I saw you on the news, say you're going to Howard Beach and going to do a motorcade. I'd like to get some of my union guys to follow your motorcade and we'll all go in there together. I said, you will? He said, yeah. I said, well, I need a favor. He said, what do you mean? I said, I need you to do me a favor. He said, anything, what you need? I said, can I ride with you? I don't even have a car. I was going to have to ride the subway to Howard Beach. We gathered, lined up in front of Miss Griffith's house, 100 cars, drove to Howard Beach, and we went right down Cross Bay Boulevard. The pizzeria that they were chased from is still there. Saw it the other night when Reverend Marshall had me go to somebody's banquet a couple of blocks away. I still get a little nervous going down Cross Bay. And when we pulled up across the street from the pizzeria that they chased this young man, Michael Griffith, from, we saw crowds of whites gathering to tell us to get out the neighborhood. And we were lined up, and a car pulled in right behind us. And out of that car came Reverend Herbert Daughtry. And Reverend Daughtry got in the back seat of the car next to me. And he said, I'm not going to let you do this by yourself. And we walked across the street to the pizzeria and made them give us some pizza. That's right. Front page of the New York Times next day was Reverend Herbert Daughtry, Reverend Jerry West, and me eating pizza where they said they wouldn't serve us in Howard Beach. We started having rallies. And as always, we like to sugarcoat it, but there are always segments of the movement that don't get along. Right. So there was one segment, they had a rally at Boys High. I wasn't invited because I was considered moderate out of Bread Basket stuff. And then they were going to have their rally. And only one who could be a bridge was Reverend Daughtry. He could talk to all of us. So I decided, I went to Bishop Washington, who I had left Washington Temple, was dealing with Bethany then, and I said, I want to have a rally at Washington Temple. He said, all right, son, and he let me have the church. We had a rally. My speaker was Hosea Williams, who was the field marshal for Dr. King. I wanted Hosea because Hosea was leading a march in Forsyth County, Georgia, where they chased them. And on that night, Hosea gave me a medallion with Dr. King's face on it. He said, I only give this to real warriors in the movement. All of y'all that read all this press about I used to walk around with a medallion and tracksuits, that was an award from Hosea Williams. I never had another medallion. That was the medallion. We went down in the cafeteria after the rally, and Hosea was being interviewed by the editor of the New Alliance paper. Many of y'all remember the New Alliance Party. Dr. Jessie Fields, stand up, she was in New Alliance Party. And the editor was interviewing Hosea and then me that night. And that's where I met that editor, Michael Hardy. And Michael Hardy and I talked, and we got to know each other over the next 2 or 3 years. He would come to things, he and Fulani and Jessie Fields, and they would support us. And then I remember when I was stabbed in '91, we were leading marches in Bensonhurst. And we were going out there the 29th week, went every Saturday, marching where they killed Yusuf Hawkins, another community saying they didn't allow blacks. Folks that are living out there in Howard Beach now and Bensonhurst now have no idea that you'd be killed for going there, less known living there. But some of us paid a price to open up New York. I'm not talking about down south in Mississippi. I'm talking about right here in New York. That's why when they put that documentary out, Loudmouth, they showed a lot of that. And a lot of the younger people told me, I never knew New York was like that. In fact, they nominated this week Loudmouth, the film, for an Emmy. Whether they get an Emmy or not, to be nominated shows our stories out there, our kids. People stop me all over the country saying, I saw Loudmouth. I say, yeah, I'm still loud. So when I got stabbed that Saturday, none of those that were all revolutionary was there. We had about 500 people there, 200 police, about 800 to 1,000 whites waiting outside. We had to line up in the schoolyard to march out, and they'd be lined up every week calling us the N-word, throwing watermelons at us. And they would line up, the police would line us up between two cadres of police so they could protect us from the haters. And as we were lining up, they had the police and then they had those that are undercover wearing the color of the day. And this guy came with the color of the day on and walked right through the police line and stuck a knife in my chest. Jessie Fields was there. Michael Hardy was there. A lot of these boom, boom revolutionaries was not there. One guy that was my security, I'm now on the ground bleeding. One of the guys, my security, he goes, I'm gonna kill somebody. I said, wait a minute, you should have done that 5 minutes ago. Get me to a hospital. Did one of these belated security guys. Talk tough at your funeral. Those days we were having rallies at the Slave Theater. And when I went, I got out the hospital after 4 or 5 days. Reverend Jesse Jackson, others had come to see me. I went to the Slave, and we had a disagreement on how programs was going to run. So I decided to leave. And I walked out. Hundreds of people there. I was doing it every Wednesday night. I walked out. Only 12 people. Everybody talked that smack. The reason I know who all was there is because it wasn't but 12 of us. 12 people walked out, Slave Theater with me, said we're going to do something else. We got outside. They said, what you going to do? I have no idea. But one of those 12 was Michael Hardy. We decided to come to Harlem, and we started National Action Network 33 years ago. And that's how the network started. First rallies was at PS 175. First rally, Dr. Betty Shabazz, Malcolm's widow, spoke. Congressman Rangel spoke. Spike Lee came. And Michael Hardy incorporated us. One of the people in the corporation papers was a cop from Brooklyn named Eric Adams. From that day on, he never left us. Fought every court battle. Stood by everything we did, whether it was the Diallo sit-ins, whether it was what we did from Obama down to defending me on the Tawana Brawley case. Michael stood there. I never, ever doubted that he was our legal mind and personally was my friend. So if you never do anything else, on August 8th, we're going to 1 Corinthian Baptist Church to have a memorial for my friend, my brother, our attorney, Michael Hardy. I'm going to have a lot more to say that day. He said he didn't want a funeral, but I asked Robin, could we have a memorial service? And she said, well, I don't think he'd object to that. So we're going to have a memorial service. So, and I'm going to tell you now, don't be passing me no notes saying you won't speak. This is an hour memorial service. You are not on the program. Folk that on the staff, Lindsay and some of them on staff tell you that, I'm kind of like out front. I don't care if it hurt folks' feelings. And Michael kind of smoothed things over. Well, Michael ain't here now. So I ain't smoothing nothing over. You are not on the program. You ain't singing, you ain't speaking, you ain't humming. This is about Michael. Michael loved everybody, but everybody ain't got to talk. This is about his family saying something, a few of us saying something. His memory is deeper than your ego. The biggest burden we have, and I'm still going through I don't know that I've reacted yet, but we got to keep this movement going. Because if we really love Michael, we wouldn't stop. If we really love Michael, the organization he put his sweat and blood in, he closed his law office and set his tent in our headquarters and went to work every day till he couldn't. We can't let this movement die. We owe it to Michael Hardy to keep National Action Network going. I don't care if you just joined last week or if you've been here from the beginning. I see some of our old timers here. I heard Brother Frank been around since '98. I see one of our early members in the back. Stand up, Stan Mallory's in the house. Stan Mallory and Von Sells with us early in the school. But he came for Michael today. And Stan will tell you it's been a long journey. But we got to keep it going. I can't call everybody's name. And, but I'm glad to see some of our old timers coming. Come on, call everybody's name on the air. But if you give an offering, I'll call your name. I went from there to having to take care of keeping things going. Two things happened. When President Biden decided to step aside and go forward, I'm going to deal with it tonight on Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live at 5 p.m. Eastern on MSNBC. And we're going to talk. I've got Senator Cory Booker coming on. I've got others coming on that are in the Senate. But I want to talk about how when he chose Kamala Harris, that over 40,000 black women got online and raised over $1 million for her. And tonight, one of the speakers, they only had 3 or 4 that would speak, and one of them to help coordinate that is somebody who's been up behind the scenes the last 25 years. But I'm making her come on my show tonight as one of the leaders of that. Rachel Nordlinger will be on Politics Nation. She's used to calling me getting somebody on. But the people there said, why don't Rachel talk about what they did with these 40,000? Let me tell you, they're going to try and do everything they can to try and besmirch the reputation of Kamala Harris. And some of y'all gonna help. Some pseudo-black militants online now talking about she the police. No, she the president. Don't make us synonymous with being criminals. Nobody fought and still fights more about criminal justice than I do. But I don't fight for us to raise our kids to be hoodlums and that our role models get mug shots like Donald Trump said. If she prosecuted to protect people that needed protection. We are not the lawless. We are the ones who establish a new law and order in this country. Over the next few days, we got a lot of ground to cover. I got a call yesterday. President Biden is going on Monday to Austin, Texas, to the Lyndon Baines Johnson Library, where he's going to memorialize 60-year anniversary of the Civil Rights Act. And then he's going from there into Houston to view the body of Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, who'll be laying in state, who you've seen here many times. And they sent me a note, Mark Marial, and asked us would we fly in Air Force One with the president Monday to go. So that's second reason I'm glad my pastor Lacey is here, so I get me a good suit from him. So I won't embarrass Bethany on the Air Force One. But then Tuesday, show y'all before y'all don't get the old Reverend Al going with the president. I've been presidents before. Tuesday, I'm going to Chicago, where we having a rally for the family of this young lady, Sonia, Massie. Young woman had mental health issues, called the police, feeling an intruder had come to her house. Police came, one of them had worked in 6 different jurisdictions, had a record of DUI. Shouldn't have been on a force anywhere. And if we passed the George Floyd Act when we elect the new Congress, he wouldn't be on the force. Ben Crump called me. I talked to the father. In fact, the father and Ben Crump will be on Politics Nation tonight, right before Rachel. I'm going Tuesday to have a rally in Chicago because she left 2 kids. And we want to, I want her children to know there wasn't nothing wrong with their mama. And I want to raise some money to help put some future for those kids. We got to embrace the children of those taken from their children and let them know that there is a village that'll put their arms around them. And you that are watching me in Chicago, we're going to have that rally at 6 o'clock for the family. The father be there, the kids, for this family of Sonia, Massie at the new Mount Pilgrim Baptist Church. Reverend Marshall Hatch is the pastor. He's our affiliate. He and Reverend Ira Acre, our affiliate in Chicago, New Mount Pilgrim Baptist Church at 4301 West Washington Boulevard in Chicago. And that's 6 o'clock on Tuesday. So I'm going from the president back to what I do. Some of y'all get lost out there. They invite you to one banquet and you think you're a Toastmaster all of a sudden. Show up at the rally with the tuxedo that you had on last night. Impressed with yourself. But this movement is grounded. I went and spoke for the National AME Zion Convocation on Thursday night. There are about 5,000 delegates there. Reverend Malcolm Bird arranged it and Bishop Porter invited me. I landed enough time. I wanted to bring my daughters to see the Civil Rights Museum in Greensboro, North Carolina. And I went there. They have the original counter that those students, 3 of them sat, and they poured sugar and milk. They're calling them names. And that boycott out of Greensboro, which happened in 1960, was the impetus of what a lot of SNCC did later. And then 2 years later, they had student marches in Greensboro, led by the president of the student body at A&T, named Jesse Jackson. And I showed my children where that movement started, and it created a student movement that 2 or 3 years later Jesse was. And out of what Jesse did is where I started with Herb Daughtry and Bill Jones. There's a continuity to this struggle. And it's not about black faces in high places. It's about us knowing that if we lift the bottom, those in the middle and the top got to get lifted. But you can't lift the top without the bottom. Trump and them talking about tax cuts for the wealthy. What about wages for people at the bottom? And sometimes God lets hard things happen to get your attention, to let you know that you're getting off track. That's why I like to go and see the museums in the South. I want to build one in Harlem because we need to stay on track. We act like this is about you personally. This is about you using the best you got to help the whole. And what you need to be doing right now is being ready to help do what is needed in this time. Never have we been in a situation where you're going to have a prosecutor running against a felon. And they tied in the polls. Can you imagine a country that would vote for a man with 54 felony convictions over a woman that was DA and Attorney General? You got to choose which way you going. Are you the country you said you are? Law and order. I'm going to see how much you are for law and order. If you can't vote for a black lawyer over a white thug, convicted. That's where we are. But that's why some of us, I thought about this, Pastor Lacey, there at the Woolworths where they had the museum in Greensboro. Some of us do things that don't make sense.
Right, sir.
And it's time in this period We're in a time where we need some folk that don't make sense leadership.
Come on, Doc.
We need some folk that ain't trying to calculate what they gonna get out of it. We need some don't make sense leadership. There was in the Bible where a man, God told him, I want you to do something that don't make sense. Say, what is it you want me to do? He said, I want you to build an ark. What do you mean build an ark? Build an ark. Why am I gonna build an ark? Because I'm gonna let the rain come. It's gonna rain 40 days and rain 40 nights. But if you build an ark, I'm gonna put on the ark what is needed to keep civilization going. And Noah didn't take a poll. Noah didn't ask, can I get a grant? Noah didn't say, I'm going to do this if you give me something. Noah said, I'm going to do what the Lord said do. And he started building his ark. His friends laughed at him. People in town mocked him. That crazy old man out there building an ark. But sometimes all you got to do is keep nailing the wood and doing the work. And if you do the work, let them laugh all they want. God done told you something that they don't understand. He will never leave you or forsake you. Build your ark anyhow. Well, now Trump's high in the polls, but where's the ark? They saying they got this and that, they gonna do at the poll. Where's the ark? I'm not paying Trump no mind. I'm building an ark. Because we gonna ride through this storm. Because God promised, if you do what I tell you, I'll make a way out of no way. I'll open doors that no one can open. Just build me an ark. I'll handle the flood. Notice God didn't stop the flood. He gave you an ark to ride through the flood. Some of y'all want God to stop what you're going through. No, God ain't gonna stop what you're going through. He'll give you something so you can ride through what you're going through. We can take it. We can make it. We made it through slavery. Didn't know our names. Didn't know where our mama was. Didn't know where our children was. They sold them to different states, yet we made it through anyhow. We survived on a slave diet where we ate hog guts and wild greens, and we put some hot sauce on it and made it soul food. We made it through the worst of times. We made it through the back of the bus. We made it when they lynched us to vote. But we made it through those storms. Look at us now. We done made black presidents. We done made black governors. We done made black billionaires. We rode this ark through the storm. We won't back up now. We going forward no matter what. It's going to take more than Trump to turn us around. There is a God. There is a God. He sits high, but he looks down low. And he promised never to leave me. Never to leave me alone. Keep on marching, even if we by ourselves. Keep on going, even if they laugh at us. Keep on going, even if they mock us. Rise up, black man. Rise up, black woman. This is our day. This is our time. We will not be denied. We will not be denied. We will not be denied. Stan, I got in my room by myself. Morning, my brother gone. This old song came, Pastor Lacey, to me. It made me feel better. The night I lost my brother Hardy. I don't know why it came up, but somehow it just like the walls were singing. Be not dismayed. Whatever betide. God will take care of you. Beneath his wing, a love abide. My brother gone, but God will take care of you.
Be not dismayed. Would have been time. God will take care of you. Beneath his wings, oh love abide. God will, he will take care of you. Oh, God will take care of you through every day, and he'll take you all the way. He will take care of you. Oh, God will. He will take care of you. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Sing it like you mean it. Sing it like you mean it. We want justice. We want freedom. Got to have justice. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Open the doors of the movement. There may be someone here today. You may be right here in the auditorium and never joined National Action Network. You hear us on the radio, you watch us on television, but you never joined National Action Network. If you're here and not a member, today is the day for you to join as we get ready to build this ark and go through these storms. Today is the day we remember Michael Hardy. Come and join and keep this movement going. Come on, just come down to me.
Everybody singing. Everybody sing. Everybody singing. Y'all got it. Everybody sing. Sing it like you mean it. Sing it like you mean it. One more time, y'all. One more time, y'all. One more time, y'all. All right. I'm going to raise our offering, taking our new members and let you go as we say at 11. And I'm not worried about the offering. I saw Reverend Steffi Bartley walk in. And he got on about a $1,200 suit. And them sneakers about $500. You know, when people got sneakers, there ain't no dirt on them. I don't know how you do that. Live out there in New Jersey and got no dirt on the sneakers. Dirtless sneakers cost about $500–600. So I ain't worried about the offering. He can handle that, no problem. Come on, sit up here, Reverend, so you ain't got too far to walk to the plate. I don't want you to have no stress when I start raising this offering. But before I do that, there was a case many years ago where they accused falsely 5 young men of raping a white woman in Central Park. One of their mothers called me and said, my son didn't do it. I said, well, how do you know? Were you there? She said, I know my son, and he didn't do it, and I don't believe the others did. And on her word, I went down, and we marched on the courthouse. Lambe Brath marched, Bill Perkins. Wasn't that many of us. I can call the name. Herb Daughtry. They called us every name they could, but we stood by them kids. They convicted them. Colin Moore was one of the attorneys. I ended up preaching Colin's funeral last year. But we believed in those young men. And there was a guy in jail 13 years later, told his cellmate, said, you remember back in the day, them guys with Central Park 5? He said, yeah. He said, them guys didn't do that. He said, what do you mean? He said, they didn't do that. He said, how do you know? He said, because I did it. And his cellmate, trying to get his own deal, went and told the authorities. They came and got his cellmate out of the jail cell and took his DNA and matched it to the evidence they had 13 years ago that it matched the girl's DNA, which meant they knew all along them boys' DNA didn't match. And they had to let them go. One that did more time than anybody, almost 14 years, was the son of the mother that called me. When he got out of jail, where you going? When you've been in jail almost 14 years. And we tried to find him a job. And I told him, I said, you come to work here. He worked at National Action Network 3 years. Every day he was here. And he worked on other folks' cases. And they made a settlement for them. And even though they got a big settlement, he never stopped coming. He said, y'all were with me when nobody was, and I'm gonna be with this movement. Well, he's celebrating a birthday. And I want you to help me celebrate the birthday of Brother Corey Weiss. Come on. Come on. Corey's birthday. Not in jail no more. He's on his way to helping a black woman become president of the United States. You paid your dues. Come on. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Corey. Happy birthday. One more time. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. All right. Give him a big birthday.
Happy birthday! Happy birthday! Thank you, Nan. And I miss you harder.
All right, give him a hand. I wanted us to do something special for him. Donald Trump took out ads calling for them to have the death penalty. But thank God they didn't. And he's living, having his birthday. All right, let me raise our offering. Let's move quickly. I need everybody to give. Don't forget again, August 8th, 10 o'clock, 1 Corinthian Baptist Church.